My ex-wife cheated on me, but now my daughters are siding with her. My daughters, now 16, started coming home from their mom's house acting completely different. They'd give me these guilt trips about poor mom being all alone and constantly asking why I couldn't just forgive her already. At first, I thought it was normal divorced kid stuff. Kids always fantasize about their parents getting back together. But then, I started dating Clemens, and that's when the real manipulation came out. My daughters would suddenly leave early whenever she came over, making passive-aggressive comments like, "Mom's still waiting for you to come home," and "It's not fair that mom has to be alone while you're happy." They'd roll their eyes whenever Clemens tried to talk to them, not hostile, just cold. I kept telling them their mom and I were done, that we only stayed civil for their sake, but they wouldn't listen. They'd argue that she'd been faithful for 7 whole years, like that somehow erased what she did to our family. Then I started noticing weird things. My daughters knew details about my relationship with Clemens that I'd never told them. They'd mention things like how often she stayed over, what we watched on Netflix, even what she cooked for dinner. That's when I decided to dig deeper. I asked my daughters directly where they were getting all this information about my love life. They got defensive at first, but eventually admitted their mom had been asking them to keep an eye on things and report back to her. But it got so much worse. I discovered my ex had been showing them old family photos every weekend, telling them elaborate sob stories about how she made one tiny mistake and I cruelly abandoned her. She convinced them that Clemens was somehow the reason we couldn't reunite, painting her as this homewrecker who stole their dad away from their perfect family. The manipulation was absolutely next level. She'd cry in front of them regularly, saying things like, "Maybe if he saw how much we all miss being a real family again." She even had them believing that I was the one who filed for divorce over nothing serious and that she'd been trying to fix things for years. According to her version, I was just too stubborn and prideful to admit I was wrong. Last week was the absolute breaking point. My 16-year-old daughter sat me down with this serious expression and said, "Dad, don't you think mom deserves a second chance? She's been completely faithful to you for 7 years. She hasn't even looked at another man. Isn't that proof she loves you?" That's when I realized the full scope of what my ex had done. She'd spent 7 years rewriting our entire history, painting herself as the devoted wife while I was the heartless villain who broke up the family over absolutely nothing. Every time I tried to move forward with my life, they'd guilt me right back into her web of manipulation. So I made a decision that would change everything. I sat both girls down for the most difficult conversation of my entire life. I told them the whole, completely unfiltered truth about their mother's affair. Not just that she cheated, but exactly how it really happened. I explained that it wasn't one tiny mistake, like she'd told them. Their mom had been in a full secret relationship with her coworker for 8 entire months, while I was working double shifts to pay for our house and their school activities. I told them about how she'd lie to my face every single day, even making me romantic dinners while texting him under the table. How she'd delete messages and hide her phone. I explained the night I found out, when I came home early with anniversary flowers and found her on the phone with him, laughing about something he'd said. How she begged me not to tell anyone, not because she was sorry, but because she was embarrassed about getting caught. They've completely stopped the guilt trips, started being genuinely nice to Clemens. My ex called me absolutely furious that I'd poisoned them against her. I told her she did that herself the moment she decided to use our children.